Hi, I'm Tammi Arender, and we're on the set with Rodney Ray of R Squared Productions. And Rodney, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to visit with us. We know how busy you are, but a lot of folks asking, what is R Squared Productions and who is Rodney Ray? So we just want to know, what got you into making films?
Well, I get asked that a lot. I started so late in life making films too, but we do it for a reason. We have a company motto, make life-changing films. So our films aren't strictly about entertainment. We want our films to be entertaining. But what I learned, is that there's not a more powerful medium than film to make a point. And so we try to make films that do that, present a positive message that people can watch the films and enjoy what we do.
Well, you use the term life-changing films. Do you really think that that's what's happening with these films?
Well, we hope it's the message. We're a faith-based film company, and so we try to have that message of faith in our movies. But we hope that the films are such a quality that they're appreciated for their artistic value. But the message is the main thing with us. Are we presenting a message that people can embrace and enjoy what the film does?
I know that you've been personally involved in a lot of the script writing, most of the script writing. Do you write your own scripts?
For the most part, I do. I do collaborate with some writers, but I enjoy that process of writing. And actually, that's kind of how I got started to some degree. I started writing plays at our church and was, like I said earlier, kind of a late bloomer with all that, and really realized that I liked the writing process. Didn't know I had that talent. Not sure if I still have that talent. But I do enjoy it. I enjoy writing, and I consider myself, by my definition, to be an inside-out writer, where I usually come up with an idea or a message that I want to convey to the audience, and I kind of try to wrap a story that's compelling around that. Sometimes we draw from stories in the Scripture to get inspiration, but there's always that message of hope in our movies.
And I know you wear so many different hats throughout the filming process. What's your favorite part of this process?
And that's an easy question. I love the creative process. From the very beginning of the writing and the pre-production, the writing, just creating, through the production of making it come alive on film, working with the crew, the DP, all the people on the set to make the film come to life, all the way through to the editing process, the post-production. I have a big thing I say with my staff is I wish I could edit my films first, before you film them, because you see in the post-production so much of your film come into life, and you're always wishing you'd done something a little bit different. But I just enjoy that creative process, and I often say is for a man it's the closest thing we'd experience to giving birth, and it's like that. It's like seeing something come to life on the screen.
What was your catalyst for writing Flag of My Father?
Well, I'm a veteran, and so obviously that speaks to me. Like most people, I'm very patriotic, but we started that out with Flag was our first military message film, and actually that film was the inspiration was I went to a funeral one day and of a friend of mine's dad who was a World War II veteran, and they presented the flag at the veterans' gravesite, and I realized that one day that was going to play out in my life. It was very inspiring. My dad being a World War II veteran, still alive, and I just realized that was going to play out in my life. So it was inspiration for the movie. Also with Flag, it was very important for us to show the importance of showing our faith, and no matter what the circumstance, however difficult it is. And so there were some parallels in my life there, and the rest of the movie for Flag was just a fictional story. But what we found with Flag that was kind of inspiring is how many people it spoke to on different levels. If you were patriotic, if you were a veteran, if you came from a blended family, or if you were a strong Christian, those messages were all wrapped in there for the viewers to enjoy. And
you've had a lot of response, not only from veterans and how it touched their lives, but the other issue as well in that with blended families. Let's talk about the catalyst and inspiration behind the film New Hope.
Well, New Hope is a movie that was really structured for teens, because it talked about so many teenage issues. In our community, we had a lot of a higher than average, a much higher than average number of teen suicides taking place in our community, and it was very heartbreaking. And as we watched that, I just realized, well, you're going to make life-changing films, you have to address this subject. But it's not just about teen suicide. It's like I said, it's about those other issues, whether it's sexual purity, whether it's drinking, whether it's just being bullied, which is a big thing in our schools today. New Hope speaks to those teens about those issues. I think, though, the most surprising thing about New Hope, since the audience was geared toward teenagers, was the number of our senior citizens that have enjoyed the film. It really took us by surprise that they would enjoy the film. But I think it's because they have watched probably themselves at some point, and their kids, and then their grandkids struggle with these same issues. And New Hope has been one of those films that's been life-changing. I've had people comment about how it changed their life, but I really think it has that, carries on the company motto, which is life-changing.
So many generations can have something very relatable in that movie. R Squared Productions, I mean, you've got a staff here, but at the same time, you actually encourage others to get involved at R Squared. How can you get involved at R Squared?
Well, the best way to be involved or just keep up with what we're doing is to go to our website, r2films.com or r2films.net. We actually have both those addresses, but go to our website, see what's going on. Go on our mailing list. We have a newsletter we send out. We're getting ready and talking about our next film, gearing up for that. And we're going to be having cast calls. We allow people to submit music. That was one of the great things about New Hope is that we had about 9 or 10 local artists submit songs, original songs from our community that were part of the music. We actually have a soundtrack, part of the movie. But, there's so many ways to be involved. So log on our website, tell us what you do, tell us how you do it and how you want to be involved. We'd love to hear from people.
So many folks do not know how many people it takes to make a movie. So you actually encourage others to get involved at R Squared, don't you?
Takes a village to make a movie. And as you know from being on movie sets, you have 100 people or more working behind the scenes to make it all come together. So yeah, we encourage people to get involved with us.
What is next for R Squared Productions?
We're really excited about our next film. It has a working title right now called Cowboy in Indiana, but it's about a bull rider and a young African-American boy, about 10 years old, and how their lives are kind of thrown together. I picked that subject because of diversity between bull riders and African-American kids, but the message in the movie is about mentorship and about fatherhood. And people are going to, come to watch a bull riding movie, and there's a big bad bull in the movie, and they're going to enjoy that. But they're also going to love the message that's unveiled through this movie. I really believe this movie will be life-changing for people as they watch it. Our society really needs to address so many of the issues with those in poverty, and that's what it is. It's not a movie about race or racism. It's a movie about the issues that exist on all levels. And one of those things is that we must mentor young kids. I had a chance recently to go down to Angola State Penitentiary here in Louisiana and visit with the warden and get a tour of the facility. And I was talking about this movie with them and a lot of the inmates. And I had a chance to talk with a young man that was incarcerated in Angola. Probably had a sentence of 50 or more years, going to be there his whole life, basically. He's in his late 20s. And I asked him a question. I said, have you ever had a mentor in your life? And he said, no. Not a football coach, not a basketball coach, not an uncle, nobody. And he said, no, never had a mentor. And he stopped, Tammi, and he looked at me and he said, well, that's not true. Actually, I have had mentors. They were just the wrong kind. And boy, I don't know if I've ever heard a more profound statement than what he said to me that day, because it just resonated in my ear that, you can say you're not a role model, but it doesn't really matter. People are looking at you. They're watching. We all have influence on people. And so that's what we want to see through this movie is the people be involved with mentoring lives, young lives. One of the great things happened while I was there was the warden gave me a key, a big brass key that actually works, or it did work, at Angola. And they changed the locks there, I think, every 6 months. And so he gave me an old key. It's a big brass jail key. And it was such an honor to bring it back. And I had a chance to share it with my friends and show it to people. But I was looking at that key one day, and it hit me. That key, at some point, was what kept people in bondage. If they would have had that key, they could have had freedom. And that one little key is what kept them locked up behind bars, kept them in bondage. And then I realized that as a Christian, we have that same key for people that are held in bondage. That you and I have that key to help unlock those bars that hold people in bondage. I really hope that's what this film does.
Right. God, every single day you have an opportunity to have a positive influence, because they say somebody's going to be involved in your child's life. Hope it's a positive role model. Hopefully you can do that too. Rodney, we thank you so much for your time today. Hopefully we can visit again soon and keep up to date on things that are going on here with you.
Thank you, Tammi.
Well, if you want more information or how to get involved at R Squared Productions, you can log on to their website, r2films.com.